So Stacy, do you know that Tuesday here in North Dakota, they're actually going to vote to put an age limit on their congressional delegation? It's something that no other state in the country has ever done, and it's something that we think is very important. So important that we came in and we helped them fund their ballot initiative. What this is they went around the state, they gathered signatures from thousands, tens of thousands of people, and they said, should we vote as a state on whether or not we want to send people to Congress who are going to be over 80 when they're still serving us? And people have been thinking about all things going on with different Congress members and people with dementia serving, stories about Alzheimer's medication being delivered to Congress and other things like that. And they're like, maybe we should have an age limit because these people clearly don't know when it's time to step back and let go of power. I mean, we have congressmen and senators dying in office. We have people who are having
staffers vote for them. Yeah, I've heard about that.
Have to ask, what are we voting on? Can you please clarify it for me? We have people standing up to give speeches and glitching out where they just stop and pause.
Short-circuiting.
And are short-circuiting and clearly not able to remember what's going on or able to function. People think this is an important issue. And Tuesday, we're going to be able to find out, when you put this to a vote of the American people, you know, there's people who say this is going to be a lawsuit, and is it age discrimination, or is it everything else? But that doesn't matter. We're going to find out what the population of America thinks on Tuesday. Should we put an age limit on it? And there's a fallback in this too. Not just should there be an age limit, but should we be posting people's ages on the ballot, which would be a hugely important thing to do. If you were going in to vote and you look and you see that there's all these people who are going to be 80, 90 years old, how can they be out there talking with constituents, doing the real work needed to be a representative of the people? So this is something that has never happened before. It's happening in North Dakota because the people of North Dakota took steps to put it on their ballot. It's going to be on the June ballot, June 11th. So we're here at the University of North Dakota, and we're going to be going around the state of North Dakota this weekend. We're going to talk to people and find out what their opinion is on this issue. Do they think this is a good idea? Do they think it's a bad idea? Do they plan on voting yes? Or, you know, if they happen to be from out of state, do they want this to be on the ballot in their state? Would they support something like this coming as a constitutional amendment if Congress were to propose it? What is their view on this policy? So I expect we'll get a lot of great answers, and hopefully we can catch up with all that.
Yeah, and we had recent polling, and at least 63 or 64% of the population of North Dakota, they want age limits on their congressional delegation. Now, this is only going to affect their congressional delegation, and actually they don't even have anybody close to 80.
They're
running.
a real good time. In other places, you know, it gets kind of contentious when It might look like if you have a Mitch McConnell in Kentucky and you did this there, it might look like you're going after Mitch. Or if you have a Nancy Pelosi or a Dianne Feinstein in California, it might look like you're going after them. But the people of North Dakota are taking on this issue when it's not an issue for them because it's a good policy. They think it's a good policy.
It's not targeting any one individual. It's targeting the institution as a whole.
Yeah, it's targeting everybody that would ever run for that office. It's an important thing to people. We talk to a lot of people and they say it is very important. We think that it's going to pass overwhelmingly. We'll, of course, see on Tuesday how well it does. We're, of course, with term limits. People are very in on term limits. Everybody wants term limits, but nobody's ever done, and term limits has been on the ballot in lots of places many times over the last 30 years. The only reason we don't have it done state by state is because the Supreme Court said you can't do it that way in 1995. This is the first time that any state has ever put on an age limit for Congress. So it's going to be really interesting to see what it is, and we want to be here now talking to people before they vote on it to get their opinion on it and find out where they are on this issue, whether they plan to support it, what they like about the idea, and whether they think, you know, since we're with term limits, we'll ask about term limits too. What other limitations do they think we should be setting up for who can appear on the ballot? Because incumbents, they stack the deck in their favor, and it's very hard to get somebody out once they've been elected because they have a machine that's built up. So you can't really have a fair election when one person has a huge war chest and they're able to go and get, you know, max contributions from every special interest group and every lobbyist, and the other guy coming off the street to get donations, the other person would know that they're coming in to oppose him. So it's very hard to have an equal playing field. So this is kind of about equalizing the playing field, and we really want to see what people's opinions are. So I hope we get a lot of great answers, and we're going to be out talking to people.
Yeah, and there's something called incumbent advantage that Scott mentioned, and they do have a tremendous war chest of money. It's really, really tough to compete. All the special interests will donate to the incumbent because they know they have a 95% chance of winning.
Do you want to throw good money after a losing candidate, or do you want to go in and support a winner? And that kind of snowballs, and then you get all these different things that contribute to this person who just cannot be removed from office. I mean, we have people who are under indictment, people who have been convicted of crimes who are still on the ballot in the United States. This is a big deal. There is a huge advantage to being the incumbent, to having that name recognition, and you can't really have fair elections when it's always lopsided in one person's favor.
Yeah, and they have like probably a 13% approval rating. It's one of the lowest in history. And also, they're the largest do-nothing Congress ever. They pass the least amount of bills. Some people might think that that's a good thing, but really, when there's problems that we have in the United States and they're not passing bills, that's not really such a great thing when we have a lot of problems that we need to get fixed.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into why Congress doesn't pass bills. But the biggest thing is, when you solve a problem, you can no longer continue to fundraise on that. So if Congress actually found a palatable solution for some of the more controversial issues, immigration, abortion, different things that are very controversial, if Congress found something that was palatable to the great majority of people in the United States, then they can no longer email their list and mail their list and say, donate to us because the other side is horrible on this issue. If you found those real solutions, people would be happy, but Congress couldn't raise money. So that's why these decisions don't get made that we expect Congress to make.